What is up, guys? It's Big Red Overland. So today I wanted to give like an in-depth tour of my 2024 Jeep Gladiator. This is what I take camping everywhere. We've taken it across the country. I've been through a lot of states with it, and the Jeep overall has been great. I do have a check engine light. I've had a couple check engine lights for O2 sensors, which has kind of been a pain, but it's covered under warranty, so that's good. But yeah, I wanted to do like an in-depth tour. I wanted to show you guys all the gear I use, how I have the Jeep set up, some of the mods I've made and stuff like that, some things I want to make. Maybe you guys can learn from some of the things I have, mistakes I've made, and maybe you guys have suggestions for things that I could use, and leave that in a comment below. So I guess we'll just do the whole outside of the Jeep now, and then I'll show you some of the stuff on the inside and some more things in detail, some of the bigger stuff in detail. So we'll start with the front bumper here. This is a Red Rock, I think is the name of the company. Not too impressed with that. I got that, and unfortunately, the reason why I don't have a winch is because there's 4 bolts on either side that hold the bumper on, and only 2 on each side actually lined up. So it was a cheap bumper. I knew that going in. I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal, but I don't trust putting a winch on it because it's only held on by half the amount of bolts, and I don't really want to rip it off. So that's the story with that. Got the grill lights in there. This is my Devos Light Ranger up here. This is the Light Ranger 2000. I did a whole video on that. This thing's fantastic. It runs off an app on your phone. Super bright, lasts all day. Check out the video I made on that. We'll come around here, and I got, this is an antenna here for GMRS ham radios. Got the light bar on the hood. I have a light bar on the hood here, which is still super bright. And then the 2 ditch lights, obviously. These are just cheapos off Amazon. They've lasted me a while, and I actually always just buy Amazon lights, LED lights. They're way cheaper, and I've never had an issue. On any of my vehicles, I've always put just cheap LED light pods and light bars and everything, and it's never been a problem. For what it's worth, this is Lace Fit brand, so I guess it's a little bit better, but these are just super generic, nothing, but they work fine. So, but anyway, yeah, so I put the light bar on my hood here because I had it up on, like, across the windshield, and I had that on my last Jeep. I had a JK, a hard top JK, and there was no problems. But man, with this soft top, it was causing like a wind interference, and it was flapping like crazy. It was making a ton of noise, kind of like Masha is. Say hi, Masha. But it was flapping like crazy, making a ton of noise, a lot of wind buffeting. It was whistling. It was super incredibly annoyingly loud. So I took that off and then went with this on the hood and just got these mounts here that connected to where the hood hinges are. So that's been working out. That's pretty nice. So these are called limb risers. This cable that goes from the windshield down to the hood. And the idea of that is when you're going down a tight trail with lots of branches, it'll deflect the branches so they don't smack into your windshield. The only issue is for me is the tent sticks up even when it's folded down, obviously. So it kind of just deflects stuff up over, but I guess the idea is it protects your windshield. I think they look kind of cool, so I put that on. We'll keep coming around here. So you can see on the ground here, that is my Vever, Justin Bieber. I don't know how you pronounce that brand, but that is a diesel heater, and that's a recent pickup this year. This thing has been unbelievable. Just burned it last night for probably, I don't know, 7 hours or so, and it went through about half a tank of diesel, so about a half a gallon of diesel. It's got a Bluetooth app, and it was 29 degrees last night, and I was sleeping up in the tent in boxers. So definitely recommend picking one of those up, because that's like one of the we'll talk about game changers. That Devos light, these heaters, I wouldn't ever camp in the winter again without one of those. We used to go out and just bundle up in a ton of blankets and warm clothes up there, and it's fantastic having that. They're cheap, they last forever, with just a little bit of diesel, and it's a fantastic thing to have, really 100%. So I guess we'll talk about the Nature Nest rooftop tent I have. This is the Nature Nest Andromeda. It's a soft tent, obviously. I would like a hard shell, but the way my roof rack is, this is the only one that would really fit. And it's, you can see it it comes right back to the end there, and it's about perfect size for my roof rack. The advantage of the soft ones are they're a lot cheaper than a hard shell one. The problem with the hard shell ones is typically they're a bigger footprint, and I don't want my tent to go over the roof because I do have a soft top Jeep and I like being able to put the roof back. So I got this. This is the Nature Nest Andromeda, and it's actually been fantastic. So I don't always put up the rainfly like that, but I just, for display purposes right now in the video, I did that. But we'll go up in there. I'll show you. It's super cozy in there. It comes with a built-in light, like a strip, a LED strip, which you can see up there. And it's pretty big and roomy and cozy. It's all black out, so when you close up all the windows, it'll be completely black in there, even during like the middle of the day. You can black it out in there, which is really nice. You can sleep in. The wind's been okay, and it's really held up great. All the zippers are good. Everything's been good. I've used the absolute crap out of this thing, and like I said, pretty roomy. That's another advantage of a lot of times these soft fold-out ones, is they're a little bit bigger inside, so you got a nice headroom. And I know there's now companies, Nature Nest is one of them, that make a like kind of hard shell that also folds out like that. I think it's the Sirius 1 and 2. They're really sweet, and you should definitely check those out. Shameless plug, I am an affiliate now for Nature Nest, so I'd appreciate if you pick up a Nature Nest to use my code Big Red Overland at checkout and save some money. I think they're a great company. I really do. That's why I asked to work with them. They have great customer service. They make a good quality tent, an affordable, good quality tent. I've taken this one out 100,000 times and I've had zero issues with it. So that's been great. I'll probably do another video one day, a more in-depth review on the Nature Nest Andromeda, how to open it up and things like that. We'll skip the back for now. We'll go through that in a little bit. Got LED pods. Again, just cheap. I think it was like 2 for, I don't know, under $20. LED pods in the back. And then I have them on the side of the rack on either side. This is my CB radio antenna here. And I have that mounted to the bed rack. This is just a Harbor Freight Apache case. I keep all my recovery gear in there. I have gloves, I have a tow strap and things like that. Again, I don't have a winch, so do the best we can with that. But I have everything. I mean, we got the shovel to dig yourself out. Got the Apache case. Oh, I didn't show you on the other side because the tent thing's covering it. I do have traction boards over on the other side. So we got traction boards, a shovel, a tow strap, everything you might need besides a winch. So these are the Overland Axis gas cans. This is a whole story. I have a whole video on these things. I originally had like a Harbor Freight metal jerry can here, which was okay, but it rattled around. It stuck up really high. It stuck out really far. So I wanted like the Rotopack style, but to me the Rotopacks, they're nice, but they're really expensive. So I was looking for alternatives, and I found this brand, Overland Axis. I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but I picked up the 1 gallon here, and I was pretty excited with it. It's rock solid. It's got a good spout. None of that safety crap on there. Vented, everything. It's got this different kind of mounting system. It's not like a Rotopax. This just kind of threads in there. They do make a locking version of that. I haven't had it long, so I can't really attest to the longevity of them, but I liked that 1 gallon enough that I picked up the 3 gallon and put it back there. So take that for what it's worth. They're about half the cost of some of the other guys, and I've been pretty excited with it so far. We didn't talk about the tires. I have BF Goodrich KO2s. They are, I think, equivalent to 33-inch, and then I have spacers on those. I honestly forget the brand of the spacers, but make sure you get a name brand spacer. You don't want those to fall off. It is a name brand spacer. I forget the offset and everything like that. That was one of the first things I ever did. Put Rubicon rock rails on it. This is just a sport model Jeep. This has crank windows, manual locks, everything like that. There's nothing special about this. It's a 6-speed manual transmission, but that's what I wanted. I wanted the bare bones so I can build on it and save some money. So we'll go inside and I'll show you some of the gear that I have inside. All right, so we're inside the Jeep now. And I'll just kind of go through some of the gear that I have in here, some of the modifications I've made, things like that. I got the 8-pillar phone mount. That's just some generic thing off Amazon, but that's been working pretty good. I have a Baofeng UV5R connected here to do ham radio and GMRS, depending on who I'm traveling with. Or if, for emergency situations, ham radio is good for that. GMRS is a good person-to-person communication. A lot of off-roaders use that, so that's good to have. I do have a hand mic that I'll sometimes just connect to the rear view mirror here, so I'll show you that later. But this is connected to the outside antenna out there, and I just mounted here. These things are super cheap. If you don't already have one, they're about 20 bucks or less. And I actually have a handheld, a bigger handheld one. This is one of their newer ones. I forget the model name for this. Baofeng something. But I keep a handheld one too, so I can hand it to people outside. And I actually use this for FM radio when I'm sitting around the fire. But they're dirt cheap, and they're really, really worth having. So definitely pick that up. 6-speed manual. I picked this up. It's really hard to see there. Let's see. Picked this up there. This is just straight off eBay. They are, I have like a wireless, I guess some of the name brand ones do this. This was about 50 bucks or so. And it is just a gang switch for the lights, and it's completely wireless. So it's Bluetooth and goes to a pack that's underneath the hood there. And I can control the light bar, the running lights, the side lights, the rear. 50 bucks, can't beat that. So MREs, can't go wrong with MREs. Chicken chunks, doesn't sound too appetizing, but believe me, MREs are about $3 a pop when you buy them by the case. And you get snacks, you get a meal, you get beverage powders, you get coffee. They don't weigh much, they pack really light, they pack really small. And I've been eating these things ever since I was a kid, but now it's pretty much all I take with me camping because it's a full meal with like extra snacks to eat later. And they're dirt cheap. Definitely recommend MREs. The good thing is too, you got no dishes, and it's self-contained to where you don't have to cook anything either. They have heaters in there that you add water and it heats up the food for you. And you just throw the trash back in the bag and you have no dishes. You don't have to heat anything, and it's a good, well-rounded meal with plenty of calories and things like that. So nothing really in here. We got the Ontario Rat. These things are kind of solid budget knives. Ontario Knife Co. Rat. I don't know exactly which model that was. Lighter. My buddy got me one of these little fire straw things. That comes in handy big time. Knife sharpener, things like that. Got some binoculars, extra battery. Nothing too crazy. In the glove box, I keep a pair of mechanics gloves. And then like my mic for my radio, which is pretty nice. I have that rigged up so you can just kind of pull it towards you and it retracts. We got the CB radio down here. Come on, close, buddy. We got the CB radio down here. That is, not a lot of people talk on here as far as like off-roaders and stuff, but it's a lot of fun to talk to truckers. That comes in handy for that. And if I ever come across somebody with CB radio, but talking to truckers and stuff, you get a lot of insight on the highway. They know what the traffic's doing, and it's kind of fun. They're cheap. It's fun. It's easy to rig up. Got the external speaker for that. This is just a $12 Amazon special, and that's actually really loud. I turned one of my buddies onto that. There's a lot of name brand ones. That's something, believe me, you can cheap out on. That works great. All right, let's go to the back seat. All right, we're coming into the back here. This is one of the camping game changers right here. I hesitated to get a power station. I got it because I run my diesel heater off of it. But holy crap, I don't know how I lived without one of these. This is the Bluetti Elite 100. I think it's one of their newer ones. Right now I just use it to run my diesel heater, and then I use it to just recharge all of my stuff. But this thing charges up while you're driving, if you have it connected, of course. It lasts forever. You got AC, DC power. You know how power stations work, but this thing lasts a long time. It's a 1,000, what does it say, 1,800 watt hour? I'm not sure. I don't know. It lasts a long time. I've been really stoked with this thing. Definitely a power station is something you gotta have. Keep a wool blanket in here. Under the seat I have some stuff we'll get to. There's that other Baofeng radio. Picked up this cool little lantern from Walmart. That was pretty cheap. That runs forever. Let's see. Let's go under the seat. All right, so we go under the seat here. Got a boo-boo kit, just band-aids, bug bites, stings, some Tylenol, things like that. You should have a little boo-boo kit. I do have like a trauma bag that I'll show you later. The cheap thing, this is a pretty big game changer. So these are, it's like an air down tool. Try to get this thing open. Cheap one from Amazon, but it's an air down tool. So to be honest with you, I did a lot of off-roading and didn't even know that airing down was a thing. Thank God I never had any issues. So this takes out the valve core stem, the valve stem core, and allows you to quickly deflate the tires so you can air down, get over obstacles a lot better, and you don't risk popping your tires. Things feel a lot smoother, everything like that. You need to air down if you go on sand, stones, anything really off-road. So that is a nice little gadget that I picked up, pretty cheap. Got my ducks to give out, and we'll go to the other side. All right, rear passenger side. Got the DJI Mini 5 Pro. I'm using the DJI Action 4 right now. This is my trauma bag. In here I have chest seals, the tourniquet, shears, everything you could possibly need for like major trauma. One day I'll do a more in-depth review on medical gear, but you should have a good medical bag and know how to use it. Definitely take a first aid class, take kind of beyond a first aid class, but at least know how to do CPR on somebody and help somebody stop bleeding. Oh, that's a program right there. Stop the Bleed is a good program. You should be able to help yourself and help others in need. So get a good gear bag, more than just band-aids and stuff. This is, I'm going to do a better review on these, but this is, like I said, chest seals and bandages and just kind of more major things in here for bigger problems than the boo-boo kit. Picked up this nice little flashlight from Amazon, Coast. That thing's pretty neat. All right, we come around the bed. This is one of the game changers. It's cheap, and holy crap, this has changed my life. This is like a $40 saw that I got off of Amazon. Man, I used to use an axe to chop up wood. This thing just zips right through firewood. You can get little, it'll do something about the size of your bicep, maybe even probably thicker. And boy, that's a game changer. I can just zip up a bunch of firewood real quick, no issues. Love that. Definitely pick up something like that. Got my all-weather guitar. I forget who makes this. Enya all-weather guitar. That's fun to have around the campfire. Should do a video on those actually if you're into kind of music. Definitely check out those Enyas. That's just the regular acoustic one. They do make like a bunch of electronic ones and things like that. This is where I keep my tools. In there I have a come along, I have a bottle jack, I have just my tool bag with pretty much everything I could ever need to work on this Jeep. Extra fuses, zip ties. Definitely put together a tool bag for your vehicle. You should have everything you could ever possibly need. All the tools, extra zip ties, extra duct tape, fuses, anything that could go wrong, you need to have that. This is my Viair air pump. So when I deflate the tires, I can put the tires back up. These things are pretty cheap. They're good to have. Pretty much essential to have if you're going to be airing down tires. Obviously, you're only limited by the size of your wallet and what you want to get. They do make very awesome ways to air up and air down, but this is a cheap alternative. Put that away. These bins I got from Walmart. I did a video on those too. It's just a little short, but they are, I don't know, I think they're $50 a piece maybe. They got this handle and you can just kind of pull them out. They fit, in the Jeep Gladiator at least, perfectly. Oh, I didn't mention this. I got the Lost Canyon rack. It's kind of a budget rack, but it's been holding up great. And a soft topper bed cap. There you go. Throw that in the mix. This is where I keep my diesel heater. In here's like my other camping gear. Pull that out. Just take a quick peek in there. I have extra lights. I have a ground tent just in case I can't get to somewhere to park. Brand new ground tent, never used. Some fire starters, propane, my camping toilet, little grill, and just extra lights and doodads and stuff. That's where I keep my pillows from up top. So with the tent up there, you can fold it up with like their blankets in there, but the pillows and stuff you got to take out, which is not a huge deal. And that's it. That is everything I keep with me. I'm sure I missed a couple things. Some things I usually have on me. This little Nebo headlight. This thing's really bright. It's really great. Works really well. Although the battery dies pretty quick. I keep a SE Izula fixed blade knife on my belt. I actually forgot to show it in there behind the seat. I have an SE5. They're great, actually. They're really great survival knives. They're all full tang. The SE5 is a really nice knife. Maybe one day I'll do a review on knives and stuff. Let me get this. There we go. All right, so that's it. That's everything that's in the Jeep. That's my whole Jeep. Some things I want to get that are on the short list. I want to get a 270-degree awning. I want to get like one of those propane firebox things. I don't have solar panels. I do have a 45-watt solar panel under that seat, actually, but that's pretty much useless. And I want to get a snorkel. As far as mods, I want to get a snorkel. Not just for water crossings, but me and my buddy went on a dusty road out west Pennsylvania. It was very, very dusty. Dusty is an understatement. And I had a whole ton of dust in the airbox. So snorkels look cool, and it helps with dust a lot. It keeps the airbox, it keeps the intake above the dust cloud as much as it can, and it's a good thing to have. But yeah, so if you learned anything from me, if there's anything you want to pick up, that's awesome. And if you guys have any advice for me, things I should change, things I should get differently, or whatever the case is, leave a comment below. Please like, please subscribe. Use code BIGREDOverland at Devos Outdoor if you want to pick up one of those Devos Light Rangers, and Nature Nest if you're into the Nature Nest tents. And thanks for checking it out. I hope you made it this far. I hope you stuck with me. Big Red Overland, out.